there was also a bunch of Daharans that, like, weren't on with Richard's side.
Right.
And we're like, but he's in charge. What the hell is going on? This is why that happened.
But I also feel like even if there wasn't this gateway issue, I mean, maybe the magic would have made this a non-issue, but they were just explaining how you had to accept and believe that he was the Raw.
You've got to believe.
Yeah, but so if nobody had ever heard that the Lord Rawl had an heir, because the Lord Rawl hadn't even known himself that he had an heir, then how could anybody really expect to accept immediately this random dude who killed the Lord Rawl, who is now saying I was his kid and now I'm in charge?
Oh yeah, I was his kid, so I'm the boss now.
So I could understand how people wouldn't immediately believe in him being the Lord Rawl, so the bond wouldn't be invoked, so they wouldn't believe it even more so because they couldn't feel it, and there.
But
right?
It would take the bond. Yes, you did. But I was going to say it would take the bond to let them know that he is actually the real ruler. Once they feel the bond,
but if they didn't,
then they'll know.
Right, but if they had no real good reason to believe that he was Lord Raw, why would they accept it? In which
That's
they
true.
wouldn't have the bond.
But I also think a lot of it has to do with the ceremony. He's obviously going to go up in front of his dudes and be like, hey, I'm the new king, yada yada. Or not king, lord. It's different technically, I know, but you know what I mean. And so in that, they'll be like, oh, so that's the new guy. Then they feel the bond, then they're cemented.
See, maybe
It's
if
like
that
a
would
waterfall effect.
If that would have happened, that would have been great. But Richard decided that he felt like going and dipping his dipstick was more important than having a couple of like moments to handle what he had just done by dismantling an entire, like, you know.
I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, he just took off and...
I would like to play the devil's advocate, but Jade, I'm not going to this time.
So I'm just saying, I understand why there was an issue with the passing of the bond. Okay, even if there wasn't this gateway issue, there were other things going on that Richard didn't handle in the proper way. So there we go. And you know where we should actually go, though?
Where's that?
On a beer break.
Hey, that's kind of my favorite kind of break.
Yeah, mine too.
So today, we have a tongue twister for you. I don't know how to pronounce Spoetzl, but I'm going to go with Spoetzl. Actually, I'm going to take that back. Because my last name is Bruni, I know O and E sometimes makes the oo sound. So this also looks German. I'm going to go with Spoetzl.
That's fun to say. Spoetzl.
Spoetzl Brewery.
Yeah.
That's a guess, and I apologize if that's not how it's pronounced. But the beer we have is called Shiner. It's a strawberry blonde.
They made it in Shiner, Texas.
Shiner, Texas. What a fucking cool name for a city.
Give you a
Shiner? Yeah. Oh, yeah. We know how to throw fist here in Shiner. Then you can put an ice-cold Shiner beer on your Shiner.
Yeah. Yeah.
This place is like Wild West in my head already. I want to visit. But it is, 4.5% by volume. So, very light. And I mean, it's a strawberry blonde ale, so very light. I like it. It's not like crazy flavor. It's kind of like those seltzer waters that we had before.
Yeah.
It's like you can taste the ale, and there's just a little splash of strawberry on the end. But, like, solid.
This is good for, like, a hot day in the garden or at a barbecue, or when you have to be around family or kids in the sun. This is a good beer for that.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, well, if you're going to be around family, you need to bust out the strong stuff. But yes, this is very good.
Well, you could, but if you want to just like float all day, like, you know what I mean? If you want to be able to keep it going and not lash out and cause a scene, then you need a low presenter that'll just carry you through.
This one's a marathon, not a sprint.
Right.
Yeah, okay, I gotcha.
It also says a treat from Poteet because they're made with Poteet, Texas strawberries. So that made me laugh.
Poteet.
So we're going to have another one of these and we'll be back right after this.
You got an egg.
Happens sometimes. And we're back. So Rain is saying that everything is as it should be, with everyone falling in line behind Richard and recognizing that he is the Lord Rawl and the bond being true, because he is a wizard, and Richard proceeds to keep denying that he knows what magic is or how to use it, and that basically everything's been kind of luck. You know what I mean? He keeps trying to deny all of this happened because he's a super great wizard, like Darken Rawl was. Darken Rawl knew his shit when it came to magic.
Right. He's trying to make the impression to these people that he doesn't know what's going on. I mean, he doesn't, but that's why he's trying to do that.
Yeah, he doesn't want them to put unfounded faith in him when he knows he doesn't really deserve it. And it really reminded me of a scene in Harry Potter where Harry Potter's doing the same thing with everybody trying to make him like the leader of some classes. And he's like, dude, I didn't do all this by myself. I had a lot of fucking help and luck and all this. And it's just the hero trying to prove that they are not without flaws. Like, they don't think that they're all powerful and all knowing. They know that.
They're humble. That's what makes them the hero.
But basically, they end up listing all the things that he can do and has done and proves it for him. Like, hey, you talk to animals. Or Gratch, at least. Like, you command the beast. Yeah. You have an invisibility cloak. You shot lightning out at the fucking people in the palace. You're pretty fucking magic, dude.
Yeah, even that, he's like, it wasn't magic. He's a pet. Like, not even a pet. He's my friend. I raised him from the time he was a baby. It was pretty easy, guys. Just feed it, and he'll be your buddy.
Yeah. And when they're referring to Darken Rawl commanding the beast, they're talking about the dragon, right?
I'm assuming so.
Because we don't know about anything else that he commanded, and he only commanded the dragon, though, because he stole its egg. So, that wasn't that magically either.
That is a big comparison between Richard and Darken Rawl, though, because Darken Rawl had to threaten the dragon to get it to do his bidding, and Richard is like, no, it's my friend, I fed him, I took care of him, so now Gratch, he follows me around, and he'll do what I say.
Yeah, exactly. But he just basically wants them to know he doesn't know everything, and they're not forced to follow him, not like slaves or anything. But Kara and the other Mord Sith assure him that serving under Darken Rawl was slavery. They had to fucking do it. They didn't like doing it. But they would follow Richard whether they were bonded or not. Like, they didn't get a choice in either situation, but at least in this one, they're happy about it. Richard also lets them know that he got help from the good spirits and that Denna is among them. So that's another little, like, bonding
tie back to Mord Sith
moment between the two of them.
Oh, jeez,
I
see what you did there.
Whatever. Yeah, they're bonding because like experience.
We have history.
Yeah,
kinda.
I know her.
Technically, I should want revenge against you guys, but
whatever. So Richard had intended to go as a seeker to the head of the Daharan troops, but now he's just gonna go as, like, the new Lord Rawl. Like,
oh, shit, I'm the king.
Yeah, he was gonna go try and get them to do whatever he wants them to do. He's not really been very clear, but he was gonna be like, I'm the seeker, bitch, listen, now...
He's gonna find why it shows up, I'm the seeker, bitch, let me tell you what's going on.
But now he's like, I'm the seeker and the Lord Rawl. You're double gonna listen to me, bitch.
Now that is a fucking t-shirt.
Yeah. But all of his new companions kind of laugh at him and tell him that he's going to need to bond them to him since they don't recognize his rule, which Richard's a little confused about, but to me, it was kind of clear right away, because he asked them, how'd you guys find me? And they were like, we found you with a bond. And he's like, oh shit, everyone can feel me with a bond? And they were like, no, not everybody, unless they recognize your rule. Okay, obviously none of the other troops in the city are bonded to you, or you would have been caught like a long time ago.
Right. He walked through all of those people. They had no idea.
Yeah. So I was just like, Richard, come on. You're quicker than this. So like we were saying a little bit ago, pure Daharan blood peopled. What? No.
People?
People with pure Daharan blood feel the strongest bond. I got it out, guys. Okay. Darken sent people with mixed blood away from him to fight the wars, so it'd be harder to bond them. Like, he wanted the people who had the strongest bond, like the purebloods, to be close to him, to protect him, because he knew that they were, like, solid motherfuckers, right? And then he sent the ones with less blood out to go do the other things, so that they weren't such a threat. But yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily the strongest thing. I feel like you would maybe want the people who have the weakest bond to you, maybe closer, so you can keep an eye on them.
That's kind of where I was at.
Easier to turn against you, like all the Daharans who went to the Imperial Order immediately.
Yeah, keep the guys who you know aren't going to turn on you, who will form a solid ring of steel all the way around your kingdom further away. So that the people closest to you, well, I mean, that also puts the people most likely to, like, strike out against the Lord Rawl closest to the Lord Rawl, but then you also have the most powerful wizard there to deal with it.
Yeah, you have the most power over them, and you can indoctrinate them so much stronger because you're like, they're right under your fucking thumb.
Right, plus, well, I mean, that's a pretty intense way of putting it, but I'm like, Richard is a good guy, so maybe they'll be like, oh, he's really not a dick.
No, but but I'm just saying, like in the past, that's what he should have done. Like, maybe keep a couple purebloods there, but then the rest of them, you keep the other guys close.
You know what? I tell you what. There's a middle line here. Kill, 5 people. Terrify the rest into submission, and then bribe the rest of them to work for you. That's my move right there.
I feel like that's not super far off from what Darkin did, though. Like, you remember the tomb workers?
Obviously, I'm joking. But yeah, that's pretty much exactly what he did.
So, the Mord Sith are telling him that if you get a commander, even if he's mixed blood, or if his troops are no blood, they could be no-blooded. Like, Daharans by name, but not by heritage.
Say, I'm not pure.
Yeah. But if most of the...
Sorry, did the German accent
a little bit. But the commander, if he follows you, if he ends up bonded to the new Lord Rawl, or past, whatever, the fucking Lord Rawl, then all of his men will follow suit. Like, they trust him, they're bonded to him, so now everyone's bonded to you. Domino effect.
He's the leader. That's how armies work. You follow your guy because you trust your fucking guy. And if your guy trusts the general, then you are solid.
Yeah, so it might be hard, but Richard needs to convince General Rybish. That's how you say his name, right?
Yes, Rybish.
Rybish.
Rybish? No. You. The man is a general.
Rybish. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. So the Mord Sith brought an official note from Trimac naming Richard the Lord Rawl and saying that all Daharans in Dahara, not just the palace, follow him and will defend him to the motherfucking death and bring undying vengeance to anybody who opposes him.
That's right. I'm the Mord Sith, not the Mord Sith, the Lord Rawl. I got a note.
Yeah.
I got a note from my doctor says I'm in charge.
Did you see the really cool wax stamp on there? It had a fucking a skull and some fucking swords for crossbows.
He's a pirate.
It was badass.
I want to see that design. If that's a Daharan soldier thing, I am immensely interested in seeing what that looked like. Because it's like the Jack Rackham flag.
Yeah.
Skull and swords.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That is the coolest thing. The ornate R and the everything else is okay.
Crescent heart thing.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
I want this tattoo.
So Richard thinks, fucking perfect. This is awesome. This is exactly what we needed. He makes a comment about kissing Haley. Hallie? Damn it. I wrote it the other way because of the thing. Yeah. Holly.
Holly.
She doesn't take very well. She immediately clams up and is like, ooh. But Richard assures her he's not going to fucking rape her. They are not slaves anymore. He's not going to do that to any of them. They are free, and he's not going to take that away. He's not a piece of shit.
That was a pretty sudden, vibe change from them being like, yeah, we have a plan. He's like, I'm going to kiss you. And then immediately you can see the damage that Darkin Rawl did.
Yeah, the trauma.
He's like, no. I promise you guys I won't lay a hand on you. I'm just a smartass with my mouth.
Joke.
I'm sorry. It was a joke. Damn it, I do this.
We're not going to be able to have fun drinking hangouts for a while, huh, guys?
And after I taught myself to not be flip.
Damn it. But Richard is just excited. He's going to go tell Rybish that he's in charge. They tell him that, hey, that no, it's cool, but it's not enough. It's not going to bond you to this guy. And Richard's like, what's with all the carrot dangling? First you're like, there's a bond, and then you're like, there's not a bond, then you're like, here's a letter, then you're like, letter doesn't matter. This is kind of annoying, guys.
Okay, I have one thing to say. It's not related to this chapter in any way. Well, it's related to the carrot thing. I learned something today.
Oh, God.
There are different colored carrots.
Yep.
You guys, I am in my 30s, and I am today years old when I learned that there are different colored carrots.
I almost wish I would have recorded you while we were having a conversation.
My brain split in half.
Yeah.
10 times.
He was laughing like a ridiculous person.
He was like, you want me to show you a picture? I go, yeah. show me these different colored carrots. And then there they were.
Yeah.
And I just, what?
There was a black carrot extract